Mark, midway through NBAA 2014, we come for the big announcements, the new jets, and the new avionics, and the new engines, and new this. But sometimes it's those quiet little projects that sneak up on you and give you one of those holy smokes moments. And frankly, what I've seen from what you're doing here, this is one of those. Mark, tell us what you're trying to do here.
Well, we're basically trying to develop a fatigue monitoring system. So the point is that we help the pilot or help situational awareness in the aircraft to maintain awareness. The whole point is the aircraft is always in motion, it's always moving, but we don't always have the ability to maintain that awareness. So giving that a pilot the ability, the sensory update, they may not even realize that they're having a problem. Coexistence with hypoxia and also side effects from sleep apnea. We've seen this, and it's been in other industries as well, from the trucking industry, commercial movements, and everything else. So we've adapted that technology into the aircraft application, and we're going forward with a program. AML's calling it the Smart Seat program, but in other applications it's been called the Drowsy Driver program. So we're trying to enable or give that pilot more structured sensory update of where they are and what they're doing with the aircraft.
How do you do this?
Okay, what we're doing is we actually monitor, in this case we're going to monitor the head movement of the pilot. We get an update of the seat. When the pilot sits down, we actually take a 5-minute window of what his actions are, and then we actually monitor those. We can actually have a 99% accuracy rate based on the fatigue and the demonstration of what's going on with the aircraft. So if he starts to nod off or not pay attention, or we see that his attention may be diverted somewhere else, we can actually add an application to say, okay, bring on the attention. In fact, as we see here, he's going drowsy and we're using a light. We can also put a vibrator in the back of the seat, so we're not wanting to startle the pilot or startle the person in control. We want to enhance their control of the aircraft.
Now, you're already vetting this in a number of ways. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing with your research program?
With the current research to date, we've tested it in the trucking industry. We've got that as an active project within the trucking side of it. This application we're putting into the aircraft, it's actually a larger application in this case because we've got a bigger scope to cover. In the aircraft side of it, we've tested it with an OEM in the sim. We've actually had successful testing and time stamping of the system based on that. And then we're actually putting together a program at the December timeframe. We'll actually acquire an aircraft, we'll retrofit the aircraft, it would be a single engine aircraft in this case, and then we're going to take that aircraft around and fly it around the country to show off the system, to give everybody an idea what's going on. And at that point the airplane will be an experimental category because we haven't going to go for an STC just yet. But the project has every plan to be STC'd and certified after the showing of the system as it works in the industry.
How are you going to approach bringing this legally into cockpits?
To bring it in the cockpit, the only way we can do this is an STC. The STC then is going to have to be applicable, and at that point we're going to need buy-in and support from the FAA. We haven't done that yet. Normally, when I start a project, I usually like to have a sit-down with some point of it. We haven't, because of the patent and legal issues that go along with this, we haven't identified that process yet. So as we go forward and as we fly the aircraft and we get more data streams and in supporting of it, it will be completely vetted to that scenario. So the FAA will be brought in, we'll be flying with them. We're going to invite anybody that we can to fly with us because the whole point is we get the awareness of the system out there, we can educate. Education's the best thing.
And how soon might we see something like this fielded in the real world?
Right now, realistically, probably a year. We'll see the airplane going on the maiden voyage around the U.S. We've identified 17 target markets. We've talked about driving it into certain areas because of logistics. But at that point, we're looking at putting the aircraft out there, letting people see it, and then developing the STC process. DO 160 to start once we've got it finalized on the application. We've been trying to decide if we're going to put it on the headrest or actually have it as a secondary application behind the seat. That then would require a seat manufacturer to buy in on that because the seats are certified. So there's a lot of logistics that are still kind of hanging before we can do that.
Aero-TV is brought to you by...
Today's pilots must have power for electronic flight bags, tablets, iPads, and communication devices. The TA102 dual USB charging port delivers more power with less hassles. Available from your local avionics dealer.